Hello, Scorpio. If you've been feeling a subtle shift lately, like something in your space, your body, or your mind is slightly off, but you can't quite name it, you're not imagining it, there is an energy missing. Not because it was stolen, but because it quietly slipped away when it realized it no longer belonged to the version of you that you've outgrown. There is an object, something once familiar, maybe even comforting, that has vanished from your home. It didn't disappear by accident. It was removed by something wiser than your conscious mind. Because that object was holding onto a vibration that was keeping you small. It was tied to a season of your life when you were surviving, not thriving. A time when you questioned your worth, dimmed your light, or let fear lead. But the truth is, even though it's no longer physically with you, its energetic thread hasn't been fully cut. And that thread is subtle but powerful. It pulls at you. It drains you in quiet ways. You may find yourself feeling more tired than usual, creatively blocked, or like opportunities keep passing just out of reach. You're not cursed. You're not lazy. Your field is still entangled with something that no longer matches your frequency. That object, no matter how small, carried a weight, a pattern that you've already worked so hard to outgrow. But your energy doesn't release what your heart hasn't consciously let go of. So Scorpio, this isn't just about throwing something away. It's about choosing to no longer be tied to who you used to be. This is your invitation to make the break real. Not with anger, not with force, but with clarity. Locate the object in your memory. Thank it. Honor what it represented. And then let it go. Energetically and emotionally. You are no longer that version of yourself. You've done the work. You've shed the skin. But you must also release the last thread, so that the flow of inspiration, magnetism, and divine timing can return. Unobstructed. You don't need to force anything. You just need to stop clinging to what was never meant to follow you into this next chapter. This is the real power of detachment, not coldness, but alignment. When your energy field is finally freed, your full potential can return home to you. And Scorpio, you'll feel it not as a rush, but as a quiet remembering of who you really are. Scorpio, that object didn't vanish by chance. Its absence is not a mistake. It's a message, a quiet intervention from the universe. This thing, whatever it was, once held meaning for you. Maybe it was a piece of jewelry you wore during a time when you were trying to feel beautiful but didn't fully believe you were. Maybe it was a pen you used when signing something important, back when you were still learning to trust your own voice. Maybe it was a small gift from someone who once made you feel seen, but who later taught you the ache of being overlooked. Or maybe it was just something you kept close, because it reminded you of who you were before everything changed. But here's what matters now, that object carried energy. And energy never lies, even long after you stopped noticing it. That item was holding onto emotional residue, stories you've outgrown, identities you've shed, wounds that have since begun to heal. And while it may have looked harmless sitting on a shelf or tucked away in a drawer, it was quietly echoing an older version of you, one who doubted her worth, dimmed her magic, or carried pain like armor. You didn't lose it. You were released from it. Something in your soul gave permission to be free of that energy, even before your conscious mind caught up. And now, in the quiet space that object used to fill, you're being asked to choose. Will you search for what's gone? Or will you step into what's being made new? Let this loss be a turning point, not a wound. Let it be a sign that your energy field is evolving, and that anything no longer in alignment with your truth has no place in the life you're building now. This is sacred shedding. This is spiritual housekeeping. And though it may feel subtle, it's anything but small. And Scorpio, losing it physically was only the beginning. The universe, and its quiet intelligence intervened on your behalf. It lifted this object out of your material world not to punish you, but to protect you, to clear space for who you are becoming, to strip away the remnants of an energetic pattern that you had already outgrown. Even if you hadn't yet realized it consciously, that disappearance was the external sign of an internal shift. But just because something leaves your sight doesn't mean it's left your field. The real work happens now in the invisible, because while the object is no longer in your hands, its imprint may still linger in your system. Its memory, its weight, its echo can still be tethered to your emotional body, draining you in ways that don't show up on the surface. That lingering connection is like an open circuit, quietly pulling at your life force, your drive, your inspiration. You might notice it in the small ways, a heaviness that doesn't make sense, a sense of delay even when you're doing everything right, or a strange emptiness in your creative flow. Like the spark is there but doesn't catch fire. This is what unspoken attachments do. They siphon your energy just enough to slow you down, to keep you dimmed, to make you question whether your momentum is real. And Scorpio, your path is not meant to be passive. You are wired for depth, for intensity, for truth. But to walk fully into that truth, you must not only allow what's outdated to leave, you must also call your energy back from it. Because energy left behind is still energy being spent. It is still part of you, operating from a frequency you no longer live in. This is the moment to close that loop. Not because you're angry or hurt, but because you've simply outgrown the story. You are no longer the person who needed that object. And the longer you hold onto its energy, the longer you delay the version of yourself who's been waiting patiently to emerge. So here is what you must do now. Scorpio, not as a performance, not as a desperate act, but as a sacred conversation between your soul and the unseen. This is not a ritual you find in a book. This is a personal release. A quiet, powerful severing. When you're ready, truly ready, sit with yourself. No distractions. No urgency. Just you and the stillness. Close your eyes and bring the lost object into your awareness. See it clearly in your mind's eye. Its color. Its shape. The way it felt in your hands. Let the memories come. But don't cling to them. Let them rise like mist. And watch them without judgment. Then, thank it. Thank this object for what it gave you: comfort, identity, connection, even the lessons born from pain. It served its purpose. It carried a season of your life. And it did so faithfully. Now, speak to it softly, firmly, and say the words your spirit has been waiting to hear. I am ready to let you go. Let that declaration move from your lips, down through your chest, until your entire body feels the truth of it. You are not just letting go of a thing. You are releasing a version of yourself that no longer fits. Now, in your mind, see the object begin to dissolve, not into nothing, but into a golden light. Watch it soften, shift, melt into radiant particles that swirl gently toward your chest. This is your energy returning home. Cleansed, neutralized, purified. It no longer holds you back. It now belongs to you again. In its raw, undistorted form. Breathe it in. Let that light settle into your body, your cells, your heart. And when you open your eyes, feel the stillness afterward. That is your true baseline without the static. In the days that follow, don't be surprised if you feel a sudden surge of clarity or a magnetic pull towards something new. That's your field. Realigning. Your creative energy will begin to flow again, not forced, but naturally. Ideas will come, not with pressure, but with pleasure. You may receive messages, invitations, or unexpected turns of events that seem perfectly timed. This is not coincidence. This is space opening for what had no room before. You may notice people begin to respond to you differently, more drawn in, more receptive. Your natural confidence, the one that had gone quiet, will start to reawaken. Projects that had stalled may move forward with ease. Conversations that felt stuck may suddenly deepen. Even your physical body may feel lighter, less tense, more alive. This is what happens when you reclaim your energy. Scorpio, not by chasing, not by fixing, but by releasing. And what you release with presence always returns with power. Scorpio, the reason this moment carries so much weight, the reason it stirs something so deep inside of you, is because this is not just about a lost object. It never was. This is about a version of you that has quietly anchored itself in your energy field for longer than you may realize. That object, no matter how ordinary it seemed, was more than a possession. It was a vibrational anchor, a tether to a past identity you've already outgrown. It held the frequency of old stories, maybe a time when you questioned your worth, when you settled for less than you deserved, when you kept your voice small to avoid conflict or rejection. Maybe it was tied to grief, or guilt, or the lingering weight of promises never fulfilled. And even as you've grown beyond that version, become wiser, clearer, more aligned, there's a part of your system that was still looped into that earlier frequency. Not because you chose it, but because you never consciously severed it. You see, Scorpio, transformation isn't just about changing your actions. It's about reclaiming your energetic sovereignty. And that means recognizing where you're still bound by the remnants of who you used to be, even when you no longer live in that skin. This moment is not just a release. It's a rite of passage. To let go of that energetic anchor is to acknowledge the truth: I am no longer her. You are not the woman who doubted her intuition, who waited to be chosen, who tolerated the ache of being unseen. You are not the man who silenced his pain, who lived behind armor, who chased validation instead of resting in his own power. You've walked through fire to become who you are now. And while the world may not have fully seen the depth of that transformation, you know it. Letting go of this object, of this frequency, is a spiritual graduation. It says, I trust the new more than I miss the old. And that trust doesn't just heal you. It radiates. Because, when a Scorpio truly releases what no longer serves, they become a living embodiment of what it means to transmute pain into wisdom, loss into clarity, endings into beginnings. That is your medicine. And that is the ripple you create without even trying. Others will feel it. They will see you walking lighter, speaking with more conviction, breathing more deeply. They may not know what shifted, but your presence will whisper to their soul, it's safe to let go. You give others silent permission to release what they've been gripping too tightly. You model the strength that says healing doesn't always look dramatic sometimes. It's as subtle and sacred as saying goodbye to an energy you once needed, but no longer do. This, Scorpio, is legacy work. You aren't just clearing space in your life. You're rewriting the energetic script for what power, healing, and leadership look like. You are proving that true strength isn't about holding on, it's about knowing exactly when to let go. And the moment you do, the world will adjust to the new frequency you carry, not because you shouted, but because you embodied it. And now, Scorpio, here is the truth your soul has been waiting to hear. The hardest part has already been done for you. The universe, in its quiet and precise wisdom, has already intervened. It has removed the object from your physical reality, not to confuse you, not to create loss, but to liberate you. That was the part you didn't need to control. The loss was orchestrated. The disappearance was intentional. It was the universe saying, you are ready for more. And this can no longer follow you. But the rest, the part that truly transforms everything, belongs to you. The universe cannot make you release the energy. It cannot make you cut the cord. That only you can feel. That's your choice. That's your act of courage. And Scorpio, let me be clear, this isn't about letting go of a thing. It's about who you choose to be from this moment forward. Do you want to keep circling the same stories, subtly haunted by echoes of your past? Or are you ready to claim the light that's been waiting patiently behind the curtain of what you once thought you needed? This is your moment of commitment, not to effort, not to perfection, but to alignment. When you consciously release this last thread of old energy, you're not just doing a spiritual cleanup. You're declaring to every cell in your body, every piece of your past, every unseen guide walking beside you, I am ready for the life that matches my truth. It may seem small, but the moment you say, I no longer carry this, something opens. Space is made. The frequency of your field lifts not with fireworks, but with quiet certainty. You'll notice it in how your body softens, in how time feels different, in how people begin responding to your energy before you even speak. That's what happens when you reclaim what was leaking away. Your focus sharpens. Your voice steadies. Your presence returns. And here's what's most beautiful: you don't have to go out searching for the next thing. When you let go with clarity and trust, what's next comes to you. The opportunities, the insights, the relationships, they already exist in the field. But they can't land until there's room. And you, Scorpio, have just made space. So this is your invitation to stand at the doorway of your own becoming and take one final step forward, not in fear, not in sorrow, but in power. Say goodbye to what has served its time. Close the chapter, not with resistance, but with reverence. And then, watch what unfolds. Final whisper to your soul, Scorpio. If you have the courage to release what was once part of you, you will unlock the gate to everything greater that has been waiting to find you. And it will find you because you will finally be standing where you belong. I'll leave you with this, Scorpio, because I know you feel it too. This isn't just about a missing object. It's about the version of you that no longer needs to be carried forward. And if you're still here, still listening, it means you're ready. Ready to stop searching outside and start reclaiming your energy from within. I'm not here to tell you who you should become. I'm just here to remind you of who you already are beneath the noise, beyond the patterns, under the layers of everything you thought you had to hold on to. So take a breath, trust what's leaving, and trust even more in what's about to arrive. You've done the heavy lifting. Now, choose to let it go. I'm Selena. And if this message found you in the right moment, then you were meant to hear it. Your transformation isn't coming. It already started the moment you stopped chasing the past.